This is a PowerPoint on the Mercenaries, Hearthstone's second storyline. Starting with Kurtrus Ashfallen. This is arguably one of the worst legendaries ever printed, in my opinion. It is a terrible card. It's very bad, especially in the context of Demon Hunter. It saw no play whatsoever in any Demon Hunter deck, and it's really only a pick off of Illidari Studies. And then it was completely power crept in Showdown of the Badlands with Felder and the Lost that does everything that Kurtrus wants and more, also going face. It's really sad to see a card like this be so bad, honestly, and there's a lot of things that could be done to this card that I will not get into here. Then you have Druid with Guff Rune Totem. This card, again, was not very good. It saw a little bit of play in early aggro Druids from this era, and then it fell off because, it's bad. It's just a bad card. It's not a good nature spell synergy card either. This was pushed as part of the spell schools being added in Forge and the Barrens, and then eventually we got Lady Anaconda with just a directly better card for a nature spell druid, which eventually did come to fruition. Then, of course, obviously, we have Tavish Stormpike, another terrible mercenary, probably one of the worst ones in my opinion. There's just no reason to ever play this card. It just doesn't do anything. You have to play so much mana to get this to work to start with. You have to have your deck built around it, and it's not even that great of a payoff. It's just not a good card in any way, shape, or form. Finally, we have the first good mercenary in Varden Dawngrasp. Varden has seen play in a lot of decks over the years, ranging from Even Mage to Quest Mage, as well as Varden is actually the first non-binary character in Hearthstone. It's nice to see some sort of representation and things like that. It doesn't affect the gameplay at all, so that's why it's not that big of a deal. But it's just kind of cool that they are doing stuff like that. And Varden just is a good card, objectively. Still sees play today. It's definitely one of my favorite ones as well. Then we have Cariel Rome for Paladin. She was very, very, very strong in Libram Paladin when that was still in Standard. It still sees a little bit of play niche through different kind of decks. You would play it in Light Glare sometimes. You would play it in Holy Wrath sometimes. It's a lot of mana cheating to discount every holy spell in your hand by one. A lot, right? So especially when you would play with Librams that already have some mana discounts on their own through the Aldor cards, I forget what they're called off the top of my head. This gives you a lot of, cheap holy spells, just spam, and you would get them back through things like Lady Leadrin. Just very, very powerful card, and, it's also just really cool to use. The animation is very nice. Then we have Xyrella. Xyrella is one of the most unfortunate cases of cards ever being printed, because Xyrella is actually a very, very, very powerful card. This card is insane. There's so many, really powerful 1 and 0 mana healing spells in Priest. The issue is, you're never going to run them ever again. Dark Bishop Benedictus came out the expansion right after in United and Stormwind, and that's been the dominant way to play any kind of slow Priest ever since. Having a having the Baku Mage Hero Power, the upgraded, it's like Firebolt 2, I think it's called, is so useful in killing off minions, dealing damage to your opponent. It's just incredible. Then we have Rogue, and of course, everyone that played during this era knows about Zeddy talking about Scabs being the most broken card ever printed. He demanded this be nerfed. It was so much talking about this in the reveal era, and then Scabs came out, and wasn't a very good card, and wasn't very good at all during their entire existence in Standard. They saw a little, as far as I remember, they didn't really see any play, actually. I'm not even going to lie. I can't remember if Scabs saw any play whatsoever in Standard. There's just no reason to play this card because of the big cost requirement to start with. But in Wild, you had Spirit of the Shark, so it actually would discount you, 12 mana total just to play Scabs. Incredible. As well as you had Foxy Fraud in Wild as well to double up and make Scabs cost 0. Incredible card in Wild. You play in Pillager, you played in Alex. It's just a great card, but it's still so funny to remember the sky is falling of Scabs Cutter Butter. Then for Shaman, we have Brucon. Brucon, again, one of a very bad mercenary. Saw a little bit of experimentation in Even Shaman at the time because, it says spell damage +3, and most of the burn cards in Even Shaman are nature spells, but as time went on, people realized, man, it does suck so much to have 4-mana attacks before you're going to play any of your spell damage cards, and then just became useless after that. There's no reason to run this card whatsoever. It's also just objectively bad, even in today's sense, that Street Trickster is 3 mana for +2, which is just better than 4 mana for +3, as well as Street Trickster hits all spells and not just nature spells. Then, for Warlock, we have Tamsin Roam, sister to Cariel, obviously. Tamsin is incredibly powerful. This card saw so much play throughout its lifetime in Standard, still sees play in Wild. It was invaluable in Questline Warlock. It was just nuts. This card definitely should have been nerfed, in my opinion. Like, the fact that you would just play things like Touch of the Nathrezim and you'd get 4 copies of them, 2 of them costing 0. Insane value for Standard. Just, I'm so surprised it didn't get nerfed. I mean, there's not much more to say about it. It's just objectively a strong card, and it wasn't like a meta-breaking card, but the fact that it just provided so much value and so much mana cheat was really dangerous. Then you have Rokara. Rokara is easily my favorite of the 10 mercenary cards from Forge in the Barrens. It's so cool. I love the fact that you actually have to use your minions and attack before you can get the buff, so it is a bit delayed, but Rokara herself can get the buff because of the way that it's worded. If they die during the trade, they won't get the buff, so Rokara is easily one of the most interesting AoE board buff cards that we've ever gotten. She fits thematically in Warrior a lot, and I just really like this card. It was really good in Standard Rush Warrior, Rush, hand buff, whatever you wanted to call it, of this time, and of course it saw play in Wild Pirate Warrior, and probably would if ever comes back, because, I mean, look at the effect. 3 mana, 2/3, that's effectively a 3/4. Rush, after a friendly minion attacks and survives, gives it +1/+1. That's such an insane effect for a board-based aggro deck. And, yeah. That being said, if you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. What's your favorite mercenary? Tell me down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Rising again, darker than they've ever been.